That there are people who prey on older people is truly heartbreaking, especially when abuse is perpetrated by caregivers, family, or fellow residents of a care facility. Today on Weekend Connection, we'll continue our discussion we began several weeks ago on how to spot abuse, who is at the greatest risk, and how to take steps to ensure the seniors in your life are kept safe from this awful treatment. Now, let's get connected. My guest today is Eva Velasquez, the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center. Established in 1999, the ITRC's mission is to provide best-in-class victim assistance at no charge to consumers throughout the United States. While physical abuse and neglect of seniors have been and continue to be problems in the United States, senior identity theft and fraud leading to financial exploitation is another and emerging form of abuse. And Eva, I assume that there are some very practical reasons why they're easy targets for ID theft and fraud, so I thought we would start our program today talking about that potential victim, the financial exploitation of the elderly.
Absolutely. There definitely are some specific vulnerabilities that this population has that can lead them to be exploited.
And I guess the very first thing that comes to my mind is that they have a higher cash reserve, and even thinking about being financially stable, they have this false sense of security. So why should they check on their credit report or financial account? But of course, that is leading to more vulnerability, isn't it?
It absolutely does. And when I think of our senior population, I think of there's two distinct issues going on for these two distinct groups. And one of them is just as you said, they have excellent credit that they aren't really using because they aren't seeking new lines of credit, so they might not be paying that much attention to it. They have very healthy savings and 401k accounts, perhaps pensions, so they're out enjoying their retirement. They're on the golf course and traveling and not necessarily checking on those finances as regularly as they should. And that can certainly lead to someone abusing their credit and committing financial identity theft. And then we have the other population that may be reliant on others for their care, may not be as independent as they would like. And so particularly if they're in any type of community or assisted living facility, their personally identifying information, which are the keys to committing identity theft, it is just exposed more often. And for legitimate reasons, people need this information. But sometimes the more it's exposed, the more opportunity that there is for someone with nefarious purposes in mind to exploit it.
We're speaking with Eva Velasquez today, the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center in San Diego, California. And this is Weekend Connection on the Bible Broadcasting Network. Eva, something else that we need to make our listeners aware of, and I'm sure you would agree with, do not carry your Medicare or Social Security card in your wallet or purse. Tell us about the ITRC solution to this.
Well, as far as the Medicare card goes, you can go ahead and make a photocopy of that card and redact or black out or cut out the part of your Social Security number. And that way you have that with you if you ever need emergency care, and they can get the rest of the number. As far as carrying other things like your Social Security card or even a lot of credit cards, one of the big tips that we give everybody, not just seniors, but everybody, is empty your purse or your wallet. You don't need to carry all of that stuff around with you at all times. Does it take a little bit of organization? Because yes, you have to remember when you're going to the doctor, and you need to remember to put your insurance card in your purse or wallet. Yes, but it is so worth it to prevent if you lose your purse or your wallet, to minimize the amount of damage and phone calls that you have to make afterwards, because you only had the things you absolutely needed to conduct your business for that day.
And something else we have to stress time and time again is to shred it. I think I've gone through 2 or 3 shredders just in my house. And I know we're talking to seniors today, and you know that there are seniors out there. They have boxes and boxes and boxes of material which they just do not realize has all this important personal information in the documents and the papers that they have. And if someone would break into their house, they're still living in their home, they could lose a whole lot more than just their television set, something more important, which would be their identity.
They can absolutely lose something that cannot be reimbursed by their insurance. And we need to reframe our thinking. This is for all of us, particularly seniors, as you said, who have a lot. They've had a lifetime to, collect this information. Treat your personally identifying information, all of those documents, your tax returns, your Social Security card, even your financial account information. Treat it like a valuable. Treat it like you would your coin collection, your expensive jewelry. You secure all of those things. You need to do the same with your personally identifying information. And for the seniors that need to sort of purge and shred these things, even if you haven't purchased a shredder, there are shred days and events all across the country from reputable sources where you can go and have your documents shredded for free, and you can actually watch it happen, so it's never outside of your sight. I know that the Better Business Bureau has events twice a year. They have Secure Your ID Day, and like I said, across the country where you can drive to a certain place, bring all your shredding with you, they shred it right in front of you, and then you don't even have to worry about it.
And something else that you alluded to earlier in the broadcast is this online fraud. And of course, our seniors are computer savvy, but some of these fake emails and websites, they can look so legitimate and may even look just like a real communication from a company with which you do business. How do you tell the real from the fake?
You don't anymore. And it used to be that you could spot a phishing email because there would be grammatical errors and maybe they wouldn't have the right logo. But now that's changed. They're very sophisticated. So our advice to people is always go to the source. I get phishing emails from a variety of different banks, and it's very easy for me to recognize that email that says, this is Wells Fargo Bank and your account is in jeopardy of being closed and blah, blah, blah. And it's easy for me to go, hey, I don't bank at Wells Fargo, so I don't need to worry about that. But what happens when I receive that scammy phishing email from the financial institution that I actually use? It's a lot harder to tell, is this legitimate? And so our advice is, if you get an email or even a phone call saying, hey, I'm from your bank or I'm from the IRS or, practically anything, say, hey, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to call you back. And then you go and get the contact information for that entity from a trusted source. Maybe it's the back of your bank card. If it's your bank that says they're calling, turn over the back of your bank card and call the number on there. If you have access to the internet, go ahead and go to your bank's website, the one that you know is legitimate, and call that customer service number. So the best rule of thumb, again, go to the source. Don't engage when they are initially contacting you, whether it's by phone or email. Either send them an email to the known email address that you discover online through looking at the legitimate website or the phone number.
We're talking with Eva Velasquez today, the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center. And our topic today is financial exploitation of the elderly. And it can be something as simple as raiding somebody's mailbox. And I know that seniors are out there and they're listening and they're still doing this. But I wonder what the solution would be as far as putting mail in their mailbox with the flag up. And is that not an open invitation to thieves, Eva?
It absolutely is, and it's a convenience factor, but I think there is a great solution for seniors. Of course, the best solution is to go and put it in a secure mailbox at the post office. And so if you are out and about, use that method. If you're not, and that creates a hardship, well, that means that you're home. So why don't you just put a note on your mailbox that says, mail carrier, please come to the door for pickup. Now, is that 100% secure? It's not 100% because you could still have a mail carrier that engages in untoward activities. So best solution, go to a secure mailbox at the post office, or have the second best solution is to have the mail carrier come to your door and pick up the mail. At the very least, you're not leaving it out there on the street, alerting anyone that passes by, hey, there's mail in here, come take me.
We're talking with Eva Velasquez today, the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center. Eva, I thought I would give you a couple of real-life scenarios and see if we can work through these situations. Imagine the first time a senior or a caregiver for a senior may become aware that the senior is a victim of identity theft is upon receiving a phone call from a collection agency, and they're seeking to collect on the debts the identity thief has created in the name of the senior. Now, if it's reached the collection agency, has too much time lapsed to be able to do something about this?
No, absolutely not, because what you need to do is remediation and mitigation of the crime. Too much time has elapsed for you to actually prevent it. So we know that someone has actually used your information to either max out existing accounts or open new accounts. And it's important to figure out which one has occurred. And the way that you do that is by checking your credit reports, one from each of the credit bureaus. And you can do that at annualcreditreport.com. That's the only website that was set up based on the law that was passed that said the credit reporting agencies must furnish this to all consumers. So that's the one that you need to go to. And if you don't have internet access, you can certainly call the credit bureaus. You'll also need to make a police report, and it's the police in your jurisdiction. So whoever, if you were to call 911, whoever shows up at the door, those are the people that you call, but you don't want to call the emergency number. You just want to look up the phone number and call the main number for that department and let them know you need to make a police report for identity theft. There are a lot of other steps that can be involved once it gets to that level. And again, I go back to get that professional advice. There's a reason that the Identity Theft Resource Center exists, and it's to make sure that people have access to those free services and that free advice from experts. So after those initial steps, we absolutely recommend that folks give us a call or email us and ask us what they need to do next, and we'll provide all of those documents, even including letter templates. We'll give you the whole plan that you need in order to resolve the problem.
Okay, so as we conclude today, remind us of your toll-free number, when you're available, who they can talk to, your website. Give us all the information.
So it's Identity Theft Resource Center. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so we never charge for our services. The toll-free number is 888-400-5530 during normal business hours. And our website is idtheftcenter.org.
That's idtheftcenter.org. We have been talking today to Eva Velasquez, the president and CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center, and we have discussed something very important, especially to the senior population today, and that is the financial exploitation of the elderly. Eva, thank you again for joining us today on Weekend Connection.
Thank you so much for covering this important topic. It's so important to get the word out.
Thank you for listening to this feature, a production of BBN, the Bible Broadcasting Network. BBN provides 24-hour Christian programming, great Christian music, and Bible teaching. Listen to BBN by clicking the link in the description.